Fantastic. There we go. We've got everybody. There we go. Testing 1, 2, 3. We got everybody. This is super. Looks like there's a little bit of a delay over there. Over with stream with Instagram, but that's okay. Oh, there we got everything lined up. This is the best time of the year. This is the best time of the month to do this exercise of planning for success, and especially planning for Q3. If in Q2 you aren't where you want to be, if you're not selling, if you haven't sold 60 vehicles now I'm not talking about delivered vehicles. I'm not talking about ordered units and all of that. Just if you've sold 60 customers, which includes bad credit, buyer's remorse, factory orders, and dealer trades. I'm not talking about deliveries. 60 vehicle sales. If you aren't at 10 per month with predictable consistency every single month since January 1st, you can't say with confidence that you've sold 60, then you've got some catching up to do. And that's the reason why I say this is the perfect time of the year. This is the perfect day in the year. This is the most perfect month because we're 6 months in. I don't know where all that time went. I really don't. Golly. The first quarter of the year seemed to fly by, and it shouldn't. For me, the weather was absolutely perfect for all the winter activities that I love to do. So from that perspective, yeah, the time really flew by. But on the other side of the equation, there was a lot of business. There was a lot of interest. There were a lot of dealerships saying, it feels, Bill, like a lot more normal time of the year than at any point. And so I was booked and doing live sessions on a routine basis, and in Vancouver once, in British Columbia, Canada, in the wintertime. And so it should have slowed everything down for me, but it didn't. And there was lots of coaching activity with the members of the Auto Dealership Academy. And then Q2 comes along, and we're talking about closing and negotiation and prospect harvesting pipeline and presentation secrets. And wow, that time has flown by. So if you feel like, well, there's still a little bit of time for me to be able to catch up here. There's still time to be able to hit my objective of 10 vehicles per month, which is 120 new vehicles or used vehicles, or a combination of new and used. I think for most of us, it's a combination of new and used. There's still time for me to be able to catch up and average 10 a month. And if you aren't already at 50K in income, you could be saying to yourself, well, I really didn't have a great last month, or the previous month was an anomaly for me because April was amazing and terrific for like Max. Max is a participant in the Auto Dealership Academy. He's a member of that group. He was with Grant Cardone for eons, and then his dealership switched over to our system of 3 phases and 9 steps. And it went vertical for him in April. Just to give you some idea, I heard a rumor that he sold 42 vehicles. That's what he delivered. The rumor was that he sold 51 vehicles. The reality is he sold 62. He sold 62 vehicles in April alone through buyer's remorse and bad credit and our inability to get the dealer trade, and people couldn't wait. He actually got 53 sales. It was one of those two numbers. I just did the podcast last week. So keep an eye out for that. I'll send a message out to everybody in the group and to your email, and you get a chance to see Max tell you in his exact words what it's like to sell 60 plus vehicles in a month. And it all comes down to this step number that I'm currently doing called the blueprint in our manifesto. And what the blueprint really does is it creates certainty. Excuse me, pardon me. If all of your other career jobs and career functions and requirements, if all of those career requirements didn't necessitate that you had to look forward 90 days, 120 days, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years out, then those were really jobs. And they were probably really quite, and not to diminish anything that you did or what the job entailed and what it required, but if there wasn't any planning required, then it really wasn't a career. A career is something that you do for a very long period of time. It's something that you fall in love with, that you would almost, and I love asking people who say to me, Bill, should I get into the car business? Like, what is it all about? How many vehicles can I expect to sell? How much money will I make? Like, how busy is the showroom? And it's at that moment in time, I recognize that are you just shifting gears and wanting to move over to this because you simply want to make more money, or are you really looking at a career move? Are you looking at something? And here's my acid test. I say to them, would you do it for free? Would you go to a dealership showroom? Would you work on the floor for free for them to be able to evaluate you and see whether you're worthwhile or not? And the majority of individuals that ask me that question say no. You know, if I'm required to go in for any period of time, or if I'm going to leave my current job, career, of whatever I have, no, I would only move over for a step up, make more money. And I'm just wondering, how much can I make and what would it like? The individuals that say, no, I'd come over and do it for free. Those are the people that are looking at this like a career. And I really hope you're one of them like that. Now, you may not have taken on this role and responsibility of having this career job because you went in and said, I'll do it for free to prove to you that I can do it and I want to do it. You may be probably like everybody else responded to an advertisement and then were given some kind of a guarantee. And that was for the purpose of training and learning how to do it. And now you're in it. Now you're knee deep in it and you want to do better and learn more. And that's what I get on a regular basis as well. For those individuals that have been on the floor 6 months or more, and they're struggling to sell 8 vehicles per month with predictable consistency, or they're new, and the dealer calls me and say, hey, Bill, I've got somebody new. Would you mind talking to them and giving them a couple of hints and ideas and tips? And like, I certainly can. What you need to do is enroll them in the manifesto. And they're like, yeah, I know, but I just want to see if they're going to be any good before I make a financial commitment. And that's sad. That's ridiculous. You make the commitment to the individual. If any managers or owners are watching this, make the commitment to the individual when you offer them the position to work for you, and then give them all the tools that they need to be able to succeed. And this is one of them. With our manifesto, in this step number 8, the planning, this is about the numbers. So in fact, what I actually do when we're facilitating a lot of these classes is skip over one step. And the step is step number 7 before getting to step number 8. So I typically go from mastering negotiation right to this planning activity. And I try to time all of our sessions so that this happens once a quarter, maybe every other quarter at the very beginning of the month, like we're doing right now here today. Because what you'll do is, if you remember of the session of the system, is there's a 16-page printout. It forms a 16-page insert into a binder that you would have with the dividers of the months of the year, January through December. And then you put this 16-page insert into each respective month and create a 90-day statistical average for yourself of prospecting and selling and closing. And that all includes the unintentional buyer as well as the intentional shoppers. So the unintentional buyers are your repeats, your referrals, your network, your service department upgrades. And this way, you don't put as much weight on your shoulders for the showroom traffic that is unpredictable, inconsistent, and uncontrollable to you, albeit it is the low-hanging fruit. You're going to sell most of your vehicles from the people that are walking in. But here's the beauty of it. As we go through the beauty of the blueprint, that is, I'm making reference to, as we go through the cyclical months of the calendar and the quarters of the year, if you've been in the business for 6 months, 6 months already, the Q1 of the first quarter of the year, January through March, is really quite quiet. It doesn't matter where you sell in North America. It's dead all over. And that's because of holiday season and year end, and everybody, doesn't matter whether you're an individual or a company, we typically start off at 0. So all the expenses keep rolling in for the month, but we set our sights on from an income perspective, a sales perspective, clean the slate. We all start from 0. So a lot of corporations, a lot of companies, a lot of departments, and a lot of salespeople deem for themselves that they go into the red. They're in a negative position. Their expenses exceed their savings or exceed their income, and therefore they have to dip into savings to be able to make it pay. You don't need to do that. And that happens not only in January and February, but it also happens anytime Black Friday and on, in my opinion, all the way to the end of March, because I'm basing my opinion on the number of coaching calls that I receive at that time of the year. Right now, very few coaching calls for the members of the Auto Dealership Academy. December, January, February, and March, lots of calls. My calendar is lit up and it's chock full because you have time in your hands and probably looking for leads in order for you to be able to sell, to be able to pay your bills. And the unfortunate part about that is that planning for success, albeit it takes some effort and some work, and you need to be patient. You can plan for success and have it in 30 days. Like Dalton did, he came to us selling only 8 vehicles a month, all through the inventory shortage and the pandemic protocol, when, as you well know, and maybe you've heard the stories of salespeople making huge sums of income, magnificent sales process, easy and straightforward, and really quite a fast sale process, to Dalton working in that environment, still struggling because he wasn't doing the activities that lead to a sale. And part of those activities is this planning activity. So as the old adage goes, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Or as the other adage goes that I like the very best, a goal without a plan is nothing more than a dream. And we've got so many dreamers in society, which ironically, that almost how I word that penalty of dreaming, right? A goal without a plan is nothing more than a dream, is the first step of goal setting and planning. We need to dream. What do you want? What do you want to have? How much money do you want to make? Where do you want to go? What vacation do you want to go on? When do you start an education fund for your children, who by the time your children go to college, be it 18 years from now, 17, 15, 14 years from now, tuition could be well in excess of 6 figures in order for you to be able to send them away. And I'm not talking, I guess, just tuition alone. Tuition that some schools will be that. Ivy League schools I'm particularly thinking of, while at all the other colleges and universities, maybe it's more reasonable, but including room and board and being able to get them there, and the books and the sundries that they're going to need, it's going to be a significant investment. When do you start doing that? And if you're not planning for that and how much money that you can set aside, this is the reason why I skip over step number 7. Step number 7 of our manifesto is an invaluable step because it walks you through a balance sheet and the process of a balance sheet. And a balance sheet is really quite easy to understand. It's the accountant's rule of thumb. It is, in fact, the income statement. If you've ever wanted to read an income statement, understand the income statement, see an income statement, it really is something just as simple as this. On the right-hand side are all the assets that you own and have. You can do your own balance sheet. On the left-hand side, on the left-hand side, let me start over. On my left, you're looking and watching, it's probably going to be the right-hand side. On my left-hand side are the assets. On the right-hand side are the liabilities. Just below the liabilities is the net worth. Now, what we do to calculate the net worth is subtract the liabilities from the assets. The asset is the higher value. We subtract the liabilities, and the difference figure is the net worth, and hence the term, the balance sheet. So when you add liabilities and net worth, that number needs to be equal to the assets that are on the left-hand side. And that's the term of the balance sheet. Where you go out of balance is when your liabilities exceed assets and there is no net worth. Your net worth would be a negative number in order for those two numbers to balance. And they must always balance. You can't not accept them in balance. And so what happens is when we see where we are at, it determines considerably easier for ourselves, especially in the dreaming stage, of where we want to go and where we want to be. And this is what planning for success is all about. It's purely numbers. It's a numbers game. It's not talking about your CRM. It's not talking about your product. It's not talking about social media and the prospect harvesting that can be done. And we'll talk about leveraging apps and technology next week to free up your time to be able to look after the showroom customers that are calling in and emailing in as well. for you to be able to make a six-figure income by being top of mind with everybody, your sold traffic, as well as your unsold traffic, as well as any generally individual out there in the marketplace looking to buy. So this planning activity that we have predicates itself on a 90-day statistical average. And I know those are great big words and terminology, and I don't want to lose you in it, but at the end of the day, if you don't know where you're coming from, so if you're just selling 8 vehicles per month for the last 90 days, you're averaging 8 vehicles. You may think to yourself, you're right, Bill, I'm not averaging 10. I need to get off my anatomy and really make this happen. I've been averaging 6.5, 7 for the last 6 months. So let's make the math really easy. 6 vehicles on average, 6 months of the year, you're at 36 vehicles when you should be at 60. Therefore, you're looking for a 24 vehicle month this month on top of the 10 that you need to sell. So there's 34. And unless something really unusual is going to happen, unless your manufacturer is going to come along with an unbelievably incredible, irresistible offer that shoppers just flood into your showroom for, and you're the only salesperson there, and everybody is prepared to drop everything that they are doing in order to be able to help you achieve that 30 plus month, it's not going to happen. And this is the purpose of planning for success. I don't want to be the dark knight. I don't want to be the naysayer for you, but I just want to be the voice of reason. If you've been averaging 6 or 8 for the last 90 days, I'm not going back 6 months, I'm just saying the last quarter, then your best forecast going forward is 10. And as long as you get as close to or beat the 10 mark, now in terms of a balance sheet of how well you're doing, effort versus reward, you're really quite doing well. You're balancing that out and seeing that you're capable of selling 10. The secret is predictable consistency. What are you going to do differently in your planning activity that you can do again in August, that you can duplicate in September, that you can duplicate in October, and the list goes on and on. And what I see with planning for success is so many of us are putting all of our eggs in the intentional shopper basket. We're relying on what's coming through the showroom doors, who's calling, and who's emailing. And this time of the year, it's really easy for you to sit back and say, well, Bill, the beginning of the year didn't start out real well for me, but I kind of got it figured out now. Now I'm selling cars and I'm talking to lots of people, and I've got lots of people that I can follow up with, and I kind of figured it out. Well, if that's the case and you're still selling and averaging 8 vehicles per month, then I'm going to be the dark knight and scare the dickens out of you that November is around the corner, because your prospecting activities can be really, really good for 30 days. More realistic will pay off in 60 days. And absolutely with certainty, I know your prospecting efforts will pay off in 90 days. 90 days from now puts us at October. If you start doing your prospecting in October, you're going to have to wait till February in order for that to really come to fruition. And the reality is the nights are long, the days are cold, everybody's reeling from the amount of money that they spend at the holidays. The credit card statements have been printed and they've come in, and now they are even doubly shocked that how much money that they spent. And purchasing an automobile where your city, township, your vicinity, your state, your province puts an enormous amount of salt on the road, just doesn't make sense to purchase the vehicle and drag it through all of that. That's how buyers think. They'll wait till the spring and they'll get in then. How sellers should think is that there are always buyers out there that I can bring into my pipeline. All I need to do is chunk down exactly how many of each one of my 7 opportunities I'm going to be able to put in there. 7 opportunities are walk-in, phone-in, and e-leads. I lump together in virtual sales. Repeat sales. If you've been in the business for 6 months or more, you've got a good opportunity at 48 leads that at a 1 in 5 closing ratio, 10% would be 4.8, 20% is going to be 5.8, 9.2 at a 20% closing ratio, right? If you've got 48 leads, if you've been in the business just for 6 months, right? Coming with 36 sales, and 50% of those 36 sales have a family member who will buy in the next 12 months, maybe even 6 months, is how I arrive at that repeat purchase rate. Well, that doesn't even include the customers that you've sold to that have a second vehicle in the driveway. And then, of course, our referrals, right? You don't get referrals by asking for them. You get referrals by telling people that they're going to meet others to say they really like your vehicle. And who did you get it from? And where did you get it? And why did you get it? What's that particular feature that was terrific and fantastic? You tell them, I need that person's name and phone number. I build my business one customer at a time. Can you do me this small favor? Can you give me their name and telephone number so I can reach out to them, whether they asked for help or not? I can just reach out, make the contact. So when they are ready to buy, I'm here. That's $10,000 worth of training right there. If you wanted it, if you've joined this session, you really want to get something out of it and see how easy it is to make a six-figure income. I really hope you feel you've got that right here at the beginning of July, the beginning of the third quarter of the year, the beginning of your planning for this entire month. We haven't even talked about the network. We haven't talked about the service department upgrades. And that's planning for success. When you look at all of these opportunities and you put 2 in each one of the opportunity buckets, times 7 opportunity buckets gives you 14 vehicles. You multiply that by your average commission, and I hope you're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $600, conservatively speaking. Some of you are I'm sure, rolling your eyes like, whoa, I'm way higher than that. Great. But do the math. 14 vehicles per month at $600 per vehicle. I'm including everything in that: commission, bonus, CSI, CX incentive and promotion, house deals, spiffs, Saturday incentives, whatever the case is. You lump that all in and you're averaging $600 per vehicle, will put you at $8,333.34. When you annualize that, we're talking about a six-figure income by 20 cents. You will be over 100K by 20 cents. I told you at the very beginning of this, and all the advertisements going out, if you're responding to that and you're seeing that, this is how you make a six-figure income. What I need to do for you right now, that is wonderfully helpful in January. Right now, we need to now get on track to make a six-figure income by the end of this year. So there could be a little bit of catch-up that you need to do. 14 at 600 may not be doable. If you can get 14 sales, we've got to increase the gross profit so you can make more money. If you say, Bill, I've got a lot of leads, this is how many leads I've got, let's improve our closing ratio so that you can make more sales, 17, 18, 20, 25, 60 like Max has, and then average $400, $380, $350 per unit will get you to that 83, 33, and 34 cents in order for you to get on track to earn a six-figure income. The automobile business is so doable. And the frustrating part is the average ordinary automobile trainers don't talk about this. So if you're struggling and you're frustrated and you don't know what you can do to make it work, book a one-on-one with me, book a call with me. Happy to walk you through it. Just talk about it. You can say, I don't want to buy anything. I get it. This is your business and this is what you do. I just want to know, based on my region and my brand and my ability, what do I need to be doing today? Because there are lots of opportunities for you to be able to capitalize on that. And I'm more than happy to walk you through and tell you what I experienced and what you can do. Outside of that, I think the biggest advantage that you could take advantage of right now, the biggest and best advantage for you, is join our Sell 10 Cars in 10 Days Challenge. So here in the Auto Sales Academy group, the private members Facebook group, right at the top, it's pinned at the top. You can click on that. You can go to the Files tab, click on the 10-day challenge, get it there, download it, print it out. And that's how I created the cards that you print out each one of the cards. And then it's a fill in the blank, sell 10 cars in 10 days. This really is. We've pushed ourselves as hard as we possibly can. I asked my team to come up with the latest and greatest, best tactics that we possibly could. I would encourage you, vehemently encourage you, excitedly encourage you, join the challenge, and then each day post in the group, done. If you're watching this live on YouTube, or if you're watching this live on LinkedIn and Instagram for that matter, Join the Auto Sales Academy private members Facebook group. Get the challenge. Watch it happen for yourself. And all I ask you to do is every single day, post in the discussion, done. That's it, just done. So do the activities and then go to the group and write done. And just show everybody how it's going. Now, if you have wonderful success with it, like Chandler and Rebecca and Kelly and Dalton and Max have done in the past, and they've leveraged the challenge in the very beginning to get started to see if what I have will help them, then reach out to me and decide whether you would like to become a member of the Auto Dealership Academy. And quite frankly, there's a fit ratio. So it's not a matter of you saying, yay, I want to do it. Here's my money. We'll have a conversation. I want to make sure you're going to be a good fit for it as well and cooperate with everybody in the group because it's a live interactive group in addition to the online on-demand training, as well as the weekly classes that happened this morning before this particular class at 10 o'clock. And that was an hour-long one where this one's only a half an hour. And then the opportunity to work with me one-on-one and capitalize on our AI role play, understanding exactly what customers do. So you can practice with the AI bot instead of practicing with the customers. That cost the dealership a lot of money to get those people in. And we just squander it by practicing on them. It would be like going to game day without any practice every single week or possibly every single month, or worse, qualifying, how on earth this would happen, but qualifying for playoffs and not practicing plays and structure before going into the final great game. Well, that's the silly part about our business. And it's because we just don't have that coach, that person. I want to be your coach. Let me do that for you. I've been there, done that, earned the t-shirt from salesperson through manager, general manager, and eventually owner and dealer principal of a new car franchise, and discovered throughout that entire process and helping countless other automobile dealerships and manufacturers who knew me really well and what I'd done in my store. We had a 100% lease penetration 1 month. And then all other months were a little bit less than that. But 1 month, just to give you some idea of our understanding and my buy-in to leasing. I think it is the only way for everybody to purchase an automobile. It's absolutely perfect. And it doesn't matter what the rate is, the lease rate is. The residual rates are just so fantastic. The vehicles are changing so quickly. The tax exemption is so amazing, and just eliminating the contentiousness and the negotiation of trade appraisals. It is just an awesome way to go. And I'm happy to share with you all those details. But the challenge will help you identify the opportunities that are out there and sell 10 cars in 10 days. We've already had several people started. You can see the done in the category, and I comment on every single one of them. So give some thought to that. If you want to know a little bit more about who I am, how I've structured this perfect system of 3 phases and 9 steps in order for you to be able to get on track to earn a 6-figure income, start with the challenge. It's free. Tons of great information there. We're giving away our very best stuff in hopes that you will come on board and want to attend each one of the weekly classes and the one-on-one training and capitalize on our AI system of teaching and training. Anyhow, my name is Bill Harvey with the Auto Sales Academy and Bill Harvey with the Auto Dealership Academy on YouTube, the Auto Dealership Academy LinkedIn page, as well as our Auto Dealership Academy Instagram page. Have a wonderful day, and I will put a comment down below for the challenge for every single one of those platforms. So if you aren't already a member of the Auto Sales Academy, you need to go over to the group, join the group, and then of course you can get the challenge. It's just 3 clicks. That's all it is. Click, 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 done. And then you can get on track to earn a 6-figure income. I'll see you next week for leveraging apps and technology, where you'll get more done in 4 hours than average ordinary automobile salespeople do in a day, week, month, if ever in a whole year. So that it frees you up to be able to look after the customers on the showroom floor, calling in on the phone and emailing in, and it works in your sleep. Do not miss next week. You'll love that for filling your pipeline. I'll talk to you again real soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye for now.